Hi, good afternoon, happy Friday, and welcome to the adventures of Bradley and Dawn. And let's just get right to the reason for the season. Stormer, there's some soup that we need to dive into, and it goes like this.
I want soup. 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 Soup.
Super, 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 soup.
Super Showdown 2025, you guys. We started with 16 soups. Actually, there was more than that, but thanks to the lovely talents and expertise of our Commissioner of Soups, Mike Ganger, and Co-Commissioner of Soups, Brian from the Hubbard Cafeteria. You guys set up 16 soups to battle it out so that we could decide once and for all what soup will rule them all.
Come
Mike
on,
Ganger.
supervisor.
That is true, supervisor. I like that. Yes, ladle up, folks, because it has been the most broth-taking competition of the season. We've had 16 sensational soups that have simmered, slurped, and sizzled their way through the bracket. Only one will emerge as the ultimate champion of chowders, the sultan of stews, the broth boss.
Broth boss.
Wow.
Are
Only
you guys ready to find out? Again, like you said, there were 18 total soups. I got to give credit again to Brian. I gave him those 18 soups. I said, pick your top four that you think are going to make it the furthest. And he literally seeded them. Chicken wild rice, broccoli cheese, chicken noodle, and chili. And we have a chicken wild rice versus chicken noodle finals that we now know the results of.
Okay, well, let's sort of revisit this soup challenge. A lot of us were pretty clear from the get-go that chicken wild rice had the edge because Minnesota. And I will say, as we went through these different layers, and Dawn, tell me what you think, the support was there in a way that I don't think was that surprising. The soups that we expected, as Mike pointed out, have really performed. There were not any huge surprises.
Right.
Soup rises.
Surprises, yes. My vote would have been completely different if chili wasn't in this mix. I just want to say that because I had chili winning the whole thing. And if it wasn't, I would have done
right now.
It would have come down to chicken noodle for me if it wasn't for chili being in the mix. Yeah.
Well, chicken noodle has been the one, if you're looking at this as which soup has had to kind of get by the tightest matchups, it's chicken noodle. They have found a way to win first off, the first matchup was the biggest, most decisive one, 67% over Italian Wedding. You then had chicken noodle taking down French onion, just 59% to 41%. And then in its most recent matchup, its final four matchup, broccoli cheese just edged out by chicken noodle, 55% to 45%. So chicken noodle has kind of been just sneaking by and finding ways to get wins. Whereas you look at chicken wild rice, 83% win, 70% win, and most recently, and probably most surprising, a huge 68% win over chili.
I mean, it really was a behemoth in this competition. Chicken wild rice has been where it's at. So
We're talking about rice versus noodles right now.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, comes down to that.
No, I think we're talking about creamy versus brothy.
Chicken wild rice is creamy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've only had the broth kind.
I don't know of any broth kind. What do you mean broth? Like
Basically just
chicken broth?
Like chicken,
I
chicken broth.
don't know. The chicken wild rice that I'm familiar with is that like creamy, chunky.
Well, I want that.
Yeah.
I didn't know the definition
Well, this is
of
not
it.
about what you want,
never
Dawn.
mind. Enough about
This
me.
is
What do you think about me?
Exactly.
The more you know.
No, I love that.
This
Chicken
is
This
what Minnesotans like, and I think the folks who had chicken wild rice going the distance understood that Minnesotans have a special place in their heart for that creamy. Because look, if we were talking about likes, dislikes, and particular thoughts about soup, it's not a soup that I would generally order. It's not my favorite soup. I mean, I'll eat it.
Really?
But I don't feel strongly about chicken wild rice generally. But I do know that Minnesotans, after the 30-some years that I've lived here, have a special place in their heart for chicken wild rice. Mike.
Yes.
Can you give us, before we uncork the soup bottle?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That's a bad analogy.
Pop the can.
Pop the can.
There we
Pop
go.
the top.
Yeah.
Will you remind us how the bracket competition amongst our coworkers is going?
So how it's going to go down, we have one of two options. One of those options, we'll see one of the three of you in the final three if it goes one way. That way would be a chicken wild rice victory. With the chicken wild rice victory, Rocco would actually take the win, with Alexis finishing second, and Bradley, you would be third. Now, if Chicken Noodle wins, it's going to be Quinn finishing first. AJ from over at Score North will be finishing second, and then third would be Rocco once again. Now, let's remind
Look
you.
at Rocco in
Seriously.
the mix.
Exactly.
Just dominance.
Right.
And Rocco won the pie challenge, and he won the pie challenge in a bracket where it was just kind of everywhere. There were
A lot of
lots
upsets.
of upsets. You had strawberry rhubarb going all the way to the final four out of nowhere, and he
Yeah.
was able to win that bracket. Now you have a bracket where it's going very much favorites winning every round, and he's also in the mix. So he's got this figured out. He, by the way, was a tortilla beating vegetable beef barley victory away from having a perfect bracket.
Wow.
If
Oh my
Wild Rice
gosh.
wins.
That's insane. All right. So if you're just joining us, Super Showdown
Yes.
2025, one soup to rule them all. How do you want to do this, Mike?
Well, let's just go through this. Of course, we got the Super Bowl coming up, so I thought maybe we would kind of give it a little football twist to it.
Okay.
So from the first kickoff, it was clear it was going to be a battle. While Chicken Noodle relied on its classic straightforward game, Chicken Wild Rice brought a Northwoods depth that just simply was hard to match. By halftime, Chicken Noodle was looking shook as a loon in a thunderstorm, while Chicken Wild Rice just
Shook as a
kept
loon.
ladling on the pressure. And in the end, the result of that age-old question, why did the chicken cross the road, was inevitable. As Chicken Wild Rice is the undisputed champion in a dominating victory. I mean, domination. The championship round, 73% to 27%. It
Okay.
wasn't
Whoa.
even
By
close.
Chicken Noodle.
Chicken Wild Rice
Wow.
crushes
More like
Chicken Noodle.
poodle. I don't know what that's.
Minnesotans are going to Minnesota.
Poodle.
And they did.
They did. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Congrats to everybody who chose Chicken Wild Rice as their top pick. You showed
More-
up.
Also, congratulations to Chicken Wild Rice everywhere. May you luxuriate in your creamy unguent success.
Yes. And then find your way down our throats.
Oh.
Well, never. Don't. Let's say stomachs instead of throats.
Thank you.
What's said has
Got
been
it.
said.
Oh, it gets
Mike, I kind of don't want to be surprised. I guess I'm maybe tiny bit surprised at the just degree to which it was successful, but I guess again from the beginning thought it was kind of obvious. Shouldn't be that surprising.
As obvious as that one might have been, and because, like I said, it was an 83% win the first round for Wild Rice, 70%, then 68%, and now even a bigger win in the finals versus Chicken Noodle. I think what was the clearest to me is not only Chicken Wild Rice so head and shoulders above the rest, but that the rest of the competition was actually super close. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not forget the broccoli cheese versus butternut squash matchup. Nobody can forget that buzzer beater.
Yeah.
It was a 6-vote difference. 50% to 49% win for broccoli cheese just to make it to the final four at the last second. You had a couple of 58% wins, some 53s, 55s. Bottom line is people love soup.
Yes.
Because we had a ton of votes. I will say we had more votes for if you ask me, we have more votes for the pie bracket or the soup bracket. I would have assumed pie because I'm a sweets guy, but no, it was the soup bracket. We had thousands of people
Wow.
give their vote and give their opinions.
I think we should chalk that up to you're thinking about soup a lot more than you're thinking about pie.
It's true.
On a daily basis. So I feel like your
Definitely in
feels
the winter. Yes.
your feels about okay. Are you Jamie over there?
What?
Trying to be like soup has a season. I get shamed
But I don't-
constantly
I don't
in my
want
house.
soup in the summer.
I didn't ask you.
Oh, well, hello.
I like soup 24/7.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that I think people have stronger feels about soup probably because they encounter it a lot more than they do,
Pie.
pie.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like one time for 5 seconds in a year we're like, oh yeah, soup or pie. Anyway, what do we do with this reality? Where do we go from here, you guys? Dawn?
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, from now that we have crowned a soup queen.
I think that everybody who picked chicken wild rice to win should celebrate, and they should make chicken wild rice soup for their family and tell everyone I chose the winning soup, and they'll be like, what? And then more people will listen to my talk.
Perfect.
Wow.
You know,
I love that.
I need people to celebrate. And I would love for them to get on our social media, get some chicken wild rice soup on the My Talk page, and, you know, tag us of you eating the chicken wild rice soup.
Wow. Look at you.
Share your
Great
recipe.
idea.
Yeah.
Let
Share
us know
your
how you make
recipe.
the perfect chicken wild rice soup.
And we should communicate. Have you spoken with Commissioner Bryan yet?
I have not. I'm excited to go tell him the news. There's maybe a chance I could see. Maybe we should celebrate here at this cafeteria that
feel
nobody else
like-
can enjoy
Yeah.
by having some wild rice next week.
Yeah, I feel like chicken wild rice needs to be on the menu next week for sure. And then we can just flood social media with chunky, ooey gooey, yummy, creamy, moist,
Oh,
Dawn's favorite
God.
chicken, cream of chicken, wild rice. Chicken, wild,
Help me.
creamy,
help.
wild.
Terrible sounds, terrible words.
Mike, we have to give you, frankly, the super. What do we want to call him? The
He's
Super
the-
Soaker
He's the
Award.
super soaker.
I mean, he soaked us with
gonna
soup.
Water guns
Superman
back
it.
in the day.
He's going to Superman that
Super,
soup.
yeah, the Superman Award for all of your hard work and
Broth-filled super soaker.
your punny broadcast. Thank you, Mike Ganger,
Yes.
Commissioner of Soups,
You're the supervisor.
for another job.
Well done.
Let me know what's next. It's a ton of fun. Thank you.
Thank you
Well,
so
and
much.
perfect timing too, the way you timed this all, because it wraps us up right before the Super Bowl.
And March Madness is just around the corner. So you're going to see
Exactly.
lots of other brackets. So, hey, if you got an idea for another bracket,
Well,
hit us up.
Also, yeah, hit us up for another bracket, but I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about something else. Did you have
Yeah.
involvement in something else that went live yesterday on my Talk account?
I certainly do. Check out our website or check out our socials. We have a prop bet challenge. So it is an opportunity for you to head on over and print this out or just do it on your phone or however you want to do it. It's just a way of, I've started doing this like 10 years ago with my friend group and my family. It's just a way for people, because let's be honest, the most watched playoff game of the NFL was like 30 million people. 130 million people will be watching this game on Sunday. So there are 100 million people who really don't give a rat's behind about anything football related. So what we did is we've got 16 prop bets, 16 questions, everything from how long the national anthem is going to be, who's going to win the coin flip, who will be shown first, Taylor Swift or Bradley Cooper, things like that, halftime related bets, all these different things. And again, you don't have to actually bet on it. You can just go ahead and pick your picks. And what it does is it gives people who don't maybe have a rooting interest in the game an opportunity to say, hey, every time they kick a field goal, let's have the ball doink off the uprights, like cheer for something like that.
Yes.
When someone's going to score a touchdown, what number is he? Is he over or under 25? Like there's little bets like that, little things like that. So we'll be reminding you about that all day today, but I would recommend checking that out. And it's a fun way to watch the big game that you're probably going to watch anyway.
Fabulous. And that's on our website as well
Yes.
as our socials at mytalk1071.com.